I think a lot of people go back and say, we'll ask the question, was Barry bad from the beginning? Was he, set up to just be this way? But as you said, he comes from a working class family. It's not like he was brought up in crime. He came from one of those families that, for the most part, was not the type that was going to set him up to be a master criminal later in life, right?
No, he was from a very strict Irish Catholic family. His father worked in some of the breweries in Worcester and other businesses. But Barry got into trouble early, and he often said his downfall was he wasn't a huge man by any means when he was an adult, but he reached adult size quite early. So he was bigger than his peers. He started hanging around with older boys and started to get into scrapes, minor crimes, petty theft. But then he picked up an unusual gig for a teenager looking for an entrepot of crime. He became a courier for a safecracker who was retired, but in his retirement was distilling homemade nitroglycerin for other safecrackers. So Barry became his courier. He'd pay him $5, which was a lot, to take a padded suitcase with nitroglycerin in it on a train to his customers. And there's a great scene Barry recalls where, he wasn't quite sure what this was, but the guy said, well, just be careful. Don't bump into anyone. And then as an afterthought, and make sure you don't drop it. So that was his start. He wasn't arrested for that, but he did some break-ins. He ended up in reformatory, and his life almost got back on track thanks to the First World War because he was sent overseas. He was a first aid man, they called it, a medic, and showed incredible heroism in the battlefield, was wounded, was gassed, carried many men to safety who might have died, was recommended for a medal. Despite all that war record, he also was held behind for a year, part of forces occupying Germany. So when he shows up in New York, late 1919, all the jobs are gone by earlier waves of veterans. He didn't know what to do with himself, and he had done some break-ins and been pretty good at it. And he basically weighed his options and said, I don't want to be a bank robber. I don't want to have shootouts. I don't want to have accomplices. What am I good at? Sneaking into houses and stealing things. And that's exactly the deliberation he made, just like he was at a job fair. And then he just got better and better at it and refined his methods.